Pushing on to the right.
License and registration. Why are you out here this late?
Heading home, sir.
Step out of the vehicle.
Am I being detained?
Yes, step out now.
I'm staying calm. My hands are visible.
Don't make this harder than it needs to be.
Watch what happens when you assume you know who you're dealing with. A quiet driver on a dark highway. Polite voice, both hands on the wheel. No arguing, no drama. Exactly what Officer Dylan Croft wanted him to be. Just another guy he could push around at midnight. Croft had his lights flashing and his flashlight ready. He walked up like he owned the road. He asked simple questions, but his tone was sharp. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? Why are you out here? Marcus Carter answered like most calm people do, short and respectful. I'm heading home, officer. That should have been the end. But Croft wanted more. He wanted fear. He wanted the driver to slip up, and he thought Marcus was the perfect target. But here's the question. What do you do when the compliant driver is not weak at all? What do you do when he is a retired Special Forces staff sergeant? What do you do when Marcus already served 18 years, did 2 overseas deployments, and left with a spotless record? A man trained to stay calm when others panic. A man trained to watch hands, watch distance, and control his breathing. Marcus Carter wasn't just heading home that night. He was walking into a stop that triggered a Pentagon-linked call within 10 minutes, and that one call flipped the whole story on its head. Before I continue, let me ask you, have you ever been treated unfairly by someone in power? Drop your answer in the comments, because this night ends with the federal civil rights settlement of $3.8 million. Now here's what matters. Officer Croft did not see a hero. He saw a tired driver. Marcus Carter was 41 years old. He lived about 25 minutes down the road. That night he wore a plain hoodie and jeans. No uniform, no badges, no signs that said, "Treat me with respect." Marcus served 18 years in the Army. He worked in Special Forces, where calm is not a choice, it is survival. He deployed overseas twice. He came home with a clean record and strong discipline. Friends said Marcus was the type who fixed things quietly. He helped neighbors with car trouble. He coached his nephew's football team on weekends. That night, he was not looking for attention. He was driving home after visiting his sister. He had a small bag on the passenger seat and a bottle of water in the cup holder. That's it. No drama, no danger. Just a man trying to get home safe. Type respect in the comments if you think a normal drive should stay normal. But wait, there's more to this. Because the calm you'll hear in Marcus's voice is not weakness. It is training, and it is about to expose a bad pattern. Let's talk about Officer Dylan Croft. He was 33 years old and worked patrol in a small town department. He liked late shifts. He liked empty roads. He liked stops where nobody else was watching. People in that area knew his name, not because he helped them, because he made them nervous. Over the past 2 years, there were 7 documented complaints tied to his traffic stops. 7. Some were about rude language. Some were about searches that felt like fishing. Some were about handcuffs used too fast. In one complaint, a driver said Croft called him "smart guy" in a mocking tone after he asked a simple question. The department wrote it up as communication issue. In another, a woman said Croft pulled her out of the car because she looked nervous. The complaint was closed with no discipline. Then, there was a third report from a local delivery driver. He claimed Croft kept him on the roadside for 28 minutes for a plate light. 28 minutes. The result was a warning and a note to stay professional. That's the problem. The system kept giving him soft landings. Nobody stopped the pattern. And when people do not face real consequences, they push further next time. That was wrong. He had a choice, and he chose control. So tell me in the comments, if 7 complaints came in, would you trust that officer with more power? Because this night, Croft was about to make his biggest mistake. It was just after 11:47 p.m. The sky was black and clear. The road was quiet, the kind where you hear your own tires. Marcus drove steady in the right lane. He was not speeding. He was not swerving. Then he saw headlights close behind him. A patrol car. Seconds later, red and blue lights filled his mirrors. Marcus did what safe drivers do. He signaled, slowed down, and pulled onto the shoulder. He turned on the inside light. He rolled his window down halfway. He put both hands on the wheel at 10 and 2. He waited. Officer Croft walked up with a flashlight. The beam swept Marcus's face, then the seats, then the back. Croft leaned in and said, "License and registration." Marcus answered, "Yes, sir," and reached slowly. Croft asked, "Where are you coming from?" Marcus said, "From my sister's place." Croft asked, "Why are you out here so late?" Marcus said, "I'm going home." Normal answers, normal tone. But Croft was not satisfied. He wanted a reason. He wanted a bigger story. If stories like this matter to you, hit subscribe right now, because what starts on a quiet shoulder can end in a courtroom later. And this one ends with $3.8 million. Croft looked at the papers and did not relax. He stared at Marcus like Marcus was lying by breathing. "Step out of the car," Croft said. Marcus blinked once. "Can I ask why?" Marcus replied. His voice stayed even. That question should not be a trigger, but Croft took it as disrespect. "Because I said so," Croft snapped. Marcus said, "I'm not trying to argue. I'd rather stay seated unless I have to." Croft made a sound like a laugh. "Huh, okay, sure," he said. "You're making this hard." He stepped closer. The flashlight stayed on Marcus's eyes. "Out, now." Marcus took a slow breath. He opened the door and stepped out. He kept his hands visible. He faced the car. Croft said, "Hands on the hood." Marcus did it. Then Croft asked, "Anything in the car I need to know about?" Marcus said, "No, sir." Croft asked, "Where do you work?" Marcus said, "I'm retired." Croft said, "From what?" Marcus said, "Military." Croft's tone changed. "What, like you were a cook?" he said. Marcus stayed calm. "Army," Marcus answered. Croft scoffed. "Okay," he said, like it meant nothing. Then he said the words that shifted everything. "You're being detained." Marcus asked, "For what?" Croft did not answer with a clear reason. Instead, he grabbed Marcus's wrist. "Turn around," he said. Marcus said, "I'm not resisting." Croft pulled harder. Metal cuffs snapped shut. That sound is loud on an empty road. It tells your body you are not in control anymore. And this is where most people panic. Marcus did not. He said, "Officer, please call a supervisor." Croft leaned close and said, "You don't get to order me. Wait until you hear what happens next, because within minutes, the wrong assumption gets exposed. Type 'watching' in the comments if you're still with me." Croft walked Marcus toward the patrol car. Marcus's hands were cuffed behind him. He moved slow on purpose, so nobody could claim he was rushing. He said, "Officer, I can show you my veteran card." Croft said, "I don't care." Marcus said, "You can verify me through base duty." Croft replied, "This isn't a base." He pushed Marcus to the side of the car and started patting his pockets. Marcus stayed still. He said, "My ID is in my wallet. Left pocket." Croft pulled it out fast. He flipped through cards like he was looking for a prize. He saw a veteran card and smirked. "These are easy to fake," he said. That was a choice. He chose disrespect. Marcus said, "It's real. I can give you a number to call." Croft said, "No." Now, here's the part people miss. Marcus was not trying to win. He was trying to survive the stop. He kept his voice calm for one reason. Calm keeps you alive. Then a car slowed down in the next lane. A woman inside raised her phone. She started recording. Marcus noticed and said, "Ma'am, thank you." She did not speak. She just kept filming. That small act matters. Good people matter. Croft saw the phone and got tense. He turned his body to block the view. "Keep driving," he barked. The woman stayed parked on the far shoulder, a safe distance away. Then Croft got on his radio. He gave dispatch Marcus's plate. He gave Marcus's name. He said, "Possible false military ID." He said it like a fact, not a guess. That was wrong. Marcus said, "I served 18 years. You can call and confirm." Croft said, "Save it." Marcus asked again, "Can you call a supervisor?" Croft said, "I am the supervisor out here." Then Marcus said something simple, not legal talk. "Please call the number on that card," he said. "They will answer." Croft refused. He did not want anyone else in the loop, but dispatch was already in the loop, and dispatch has rules. Croft did not control the radio room. About 6 minutes into the stop, dispatch asked Croft a direct question. "What is the reason for detention?" Croft paused, a long pause. He said, "Suspicious behavior." "That is not a clear reason." Then dispatch said, "Stand by." Marcus heard that and stayed quiet. He waited. 10 minutes later, everything changed. A call came into dispatch from a military liaison line. Not a friend, not a buddy, a serious contact, someone who spoke like they expected answers. Dispatch relayed it to a supervisor. Within seconds, Croft's radio crackled again. Unit 12, supervisor en route, dispatch said. Croft's face tightened. His voice got smaller. He stepped away from Marcus and made another call. He was trying to get ahead of the wave. Marcus stood cuffed, calm, breathing slow. The woman filming whispered, "I got you." Marcus nodded once. "Let me ask you something. If nobody recorded, what story would we hear later? Comment camera if you think recording protects the truth. Because the power is about to flip fast." At 11:59 p.m., a second patrol car arrived. It was Sergeant Alan Pierce, 46 years old. He stepped out and looked at the scene in one sweep. Marcus in cuffs, Croft standing stiff. A witness car parked far back with hazards on. Pierce walked up and asked, "What's going on?" Croft started talking fast. He said Marcus was acting odd. He said Marcus had fake ID. He said Marcus refused commands. Pierce did not accept it right away. He asked, "What was the original reason for the stop?" Croft said, "Plate light." Pierce asked, "Any warrants?" Croft said, "None." Pierce asked, "Any weapon seen?" Croft said, "No." Pierce looked at Marcus and said, "Sir, are you okay?" Marcus said, "I'm fine. I asked to be verified." Pierce nodded. Then he said to Croft, "Remove the cuffs." Croft hesitated. That pause told the truth. Pierce repeated, "Remove them." Croft unlocked the cuffs. Marcus rolled his shoulders slow. Pierce asked for Marcus's ID. He looked at the veteran card. He called dispatch and asked who made the liaison call. Dispatch said, "Federal contact." Pierce's eyes narrowed. He asked Croft, "Why did you say possible fake?" Croft said, "It looked off." Pierce said, "Based on what?" Croft did not have a clean answer. Pierce stepped closer and lowered his voice. "This is serious," he said. "You do not throw that word around." That was the moral line. Words can ruin lives. Pierce told Marcus, "You are not under arrest." He said, "You are free to go." Marcus said, "Thank you." He did not gloat. He did not yell. He just wanted to leave. Pierce walked back to Croft and said, "You and I will talk after shift." Croft stared at the ground. His power was gone. If you want more stories where power gets checked, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next part is where the truth spreads beyond that road. Marcus drove home a few minutes later. The witness did not. She stayed long enough to save her video. By 12:40 a.m., she uploaded a clip online. It showed Marcus calm. It showed Croft snapping. It showed the cuffs. It showed the silence when dispatch asked for a reason. By 2 a.m., the clip had 85,000 views. By sunrise, it hit 1.2 million. People shared it fast because the story felt too familiar. The comments were blunt. One said, "He did everything right." Another said, "They still punished him." Another said, "Thank God she recorded." By that afternoon, a longer version hit 4.6 million views across platforms. Local news picked it up with the headline, "Veteran Detained After Minor Stop." Veteran groups reposted it. Civil rights groups reposted it. Even people who usually avoid these stories clicked because the video was clear. No edits, no missing parts. Share this video if you think others should see it. And tell me in the comments, what moment made you the most angry? Was it the fake ID claim? Was it the cuffs? Or was it the pause when dispatch asked why? Because the internet pressure forced the next step. 3 days later, Marcus filed a federal civil rights lawsuit. That sounds big, so let me say it simple. He told a federal court, "This officer treated me unfairly and illegally." He said the stop became punishment without a real reason. He also said the department failed to fix a known pattern. The lawsuit named Officer Croft and the department. Then the waiting began. Weeks turned into months. During the case, lawyers pulled records. They pulled dispatch logs. They pulled body camera video. They pulled training files. They pulled complaint history. And that is when the pattern became hard to deny. 7 prior complaints showed up again. Each one had a soft ending. No violation. Coaching. Closed. That was the system's fingerprint. A year later, the department agreed to settle. The settlement amount was $3.8 million. Here is the breakdown. Marcus received $2.4 million for harm and lost peace of mind. His legal team received $900,000 in fees and costs. The remaining $500,000 went to required training, new camera checks, and outside review steps. Wait until you hear this part. The deal also forced the department to change policy. Officers now had to state a clear reason before handcuffs, unless there was an immediate threat. They also had to log every stop with timestamps in a stricter system. Croft faced consequences too. He was placed on leave during the case. Later, he resigned before a final hearing. That move let him avoid a public firing. That is the twist. He walked away, but the department paid the bill. Tell me what you think. Should resignation count as accountability? Comment no if you think it lets people escape. After the settlement, Marcus spoke once, on camera, outside a small hall. He stood next to his sister and his nephew. He looked tired, but steady. He said, "I did not want money. I wanted the truth on record." He said the worst part was not the cuffs. It was the feeling that calm did not protect him. "I kept my hands visible," he said. "I used a respectful tone. I followed orders, and it still went wrong." That line hit people hard because it was simple. He thanked the woman who recorded. He said, "You helped the truth live." He thanked Sergeant Pierce too. He said one supervisor did the right thing. Then Marcus turned serious. He said, "No one should need a uniform to be treated right." He asked for better training and real reviews of complaints. He said he wanted a system where 7 reports means action, not excuses. He ended with a message to viewers. "If you see something, record it safely," he said. "And if you feel scared, get help fast." That was not show-off talk. That was a man trying to protect the next person. But wait, there's one bigger lesson we need to say out loud. Here's the bigger issue. Power without checks becomes abuse. Most people do not have a Pentagon-linked call. Most people do not have a clean paper trail. That is why cameras matter. That is why clear rules matter. A stop should be about safety, not control. If one officer can stack complaints and keep the badge, the system is broken, and fixing it should not take a $3.8 million payment. So let me ask you, should a calm driver ever be treated like a threat? Should someone need military status to be believed? Should 7 complaints be ignored until the public sees a video? Because if we don't fix the problem, then we're just waiting for the next Dylan Croft, the next Marcus Carter, the next bad stop on a dark road, waiting for the next set of cuffs, waiting for the next family to get that call, waiting for the next settlement that costs millions instead of saving people early. Comment below if you believe Officer Croft should have faced more consequences. And tell me this too, if you were Marcus, what would you do in that moment? If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these stories. We're going to keep demanding better. This isn't just about one officer or one veteran. It's about all of us, about what we accept, about what we record, about what we change. See you in the next one.